I am here with Coach Brendan. I'm in your office.
Yes.
Being a coach is a part-time job. I have an evening of undivided attention. I am hardly ever nervous. I can't remember the last time I was nervous interviewing anyone. But I don't know. Maybe because I shouldn't have read your article prior to coming in. I've read quite a few, but I thought to refresh myself. I read one more, and I stumbled into your birthday note where you have. I was on number 20 something. I don't know how long your list of advice there is.
Probably towards the end already, I think.
Yeah, and you texted me, so I have to come out. But I didn't want to let go. I mean, I've written down so many notes. Not here, somewhere else. Yeah. And, I have a deep sense of connection with your writing.
Thank you.
Almost like I know you, brother from another mother. It's spooky. Yeah. Now, where do we start? I'm speechless right now. Why don't we start with writing?
Sure.
How do you write so well?
I never knew that I could write because I'm Chinese ed, right? I'm a Chinese ed student. English wasn't my main language when I was young. I never knew that I could write.
But it was flawless. I don't see grammar problem.
A little bit here and there. Then where it started was I started a blog perhaps 5 years ago, 5 years ago. It was out of competition. I told you, right? My friend started a blog, Coach Cafe. Then I realized, hey, why don't I start a blog too? Then one of my resolutions last a few years, 2 years ago. No, actually, then what happened is that after you start committing, you start with the first prototype. I still remember my first article was pretty bad, and then my second was pretty bad. Then when you start sharing, when feedback came in, like exactly what you said, you get feedback, and then that kept me going. Then before I realized it, I produced article, and then last year I started a year by saying that, hey, I wanted to coach more people. I want to be able to reach out to more people to get more story, and I can't do one-on-one coaching all the time. So what could I do more? So that's where I started this project called the Tiny Letters.
Yes.
Right. It's vice versa. A lot of my long article in my blogs are actually evolved from my tiny letters. Right. And sometimes when I write a wrong article, I break them down, become a tiny letters. So tiny letters, I told my writer, my reader was that it's my attempt of observing life and taking out small life lesson and share it with you. It's not supposed to be longer than 2 iPhone screen scroll.
You know what I remember about the early part of reading your work is exactly that 2 screen stroke.
Exactly.
I never come across that expression before. I thought this person is quite thoughtful, and I'm always jealous of people who is able to articulate that way. I wish I was. I haven't recorded this on voice, but keep going.
You know why? Because I realized
is that something you steal, or is it an original thought?
Well,
two screen
scroll.
Yeah.
No, you observe like I work in PNG, right? And I send a lot of emails. Emails is the main communication tool. Then I realized bosses don't check email on their laptop. They check email on their iPhone.
No, the phrase is not stolen from someone else.
I made that up.
That is amazing.
I made them. I realized sometimes bosses don't scroll. Either they scroll or they scroll very fast. So you need to be able to give that punchline.
2 screen scroll.
Yeah. So I realized sometimes you need to be, when you write, you need to be able to create good punchline to catch people. I guess that's where my writing, as I evolve my writing style, that's why I get into short, punchy punchline. And then I realized a lot of things. When I first started, I tend to write a long article. It's very whiny. And then as I evolve, I realized sometimes the shorter the better, because the shorter the tougher too.
Yeah. So you're relentless with editing.
Yes. Sometimes I went to like 1,000 words, and I can chop it down to 400.
Those are the gems.
Yeah.
Have you come across the term called the art of elimination?
Yes.
By? No, I mean the reason why I say by is one of my favorite writers.
Okay.
Rob Bell.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
Not really. No, really.
You should read his work.
Yeah.
So what he has is in one of his seminars he hand everyone soap.
Okay.
Yeah. And hand people knife to craft it.
Okay.
Then he would have professionally crafted soap. Yeah, and say that hey, the gems are within.
Okay.
It's how you eliminate.
No, it's true. It's true. Because that's how coaching process is like, right? You go broad, you cast a net, right? And when I write, I tend to write as much as I could. It's putting down the thoughts.
Yeah.
And once you have everything, you turn to eliminate and craft it down.
Yeah.
Because that's where clarity comes in.
Yeah. But it's painful to be so relentless.
You have to choose to let go.
I know.
It's ability of.
Is it difficult? It's like, hey, I like that sentence. Yeah, I like that one too.
It is. Because sometimes you think like, you spend 2 days writing 1,000 words, like, and then you have to chop it down to 300. Like those are all efforts. But I guess if you don't go through that process, you don't come out with the gems, right?
What I am most impressed is, of course, you have great writing skill, but the beautiful mind behind it. I think that is what makes it so compelling to me. I think writing is a process
Exactly.
of expressing your thoughts.
Yep.
Yes, you can write well, articulate well, but it's that thought that I think is deserving of much more credit.
I tend to.
What goes through your mind?
No, I think I enjoy interpreting life.
Right.
Interpreting life. I guess interpreting life. It's like when I look at events or when I look at someone, when I look at intention behind someone doing something, I always thought that there's lesson behind it. There's why they do that, and how do I learn something from that, right? Or how did the person learn something from it? And a lot of times, I realized that you can learn things even from the most boring stuff, most boring happening in life, right? A phone call, meeting someone at a steakhouse. So it's just my small obsession of interpreting life.
You see, this is something that older people do. So I would guess that most of your friends at your age would think you're weird in thinking too much.
Some of them think I'm philosophical, but I guess they got used to me.
Oh, really? Have you always been like that?
That's a good question. To be honest, I don't know. I think I'm more aware of me being that since I learned how to become a coach, and I was satisfied to be a coach about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And ever since then, I was a bit more mindful because being a coach, is a lot of clarity, right? You talk, you think, you interpret what the clients and the coachee says, and I integrate my coaching skills in my day-to-day conversation. And I think if I were to pinpoint a time in life, I think it will be since I learned how to be a life coach.
So it's given you that awareness.
Yes. It's given me the awareness. It's given me the ability and the mindfulness to pause and to think about life and people.
What kind of coaching course do you go through? I want to go through one of them.
No, it's just coaching conversation. But I guess you're right. Perhaps I'm interested in people. I'm interested in life wisdom per se, life lesson, and I love quotes. Actually, if I would think of one of the things I love to collect since young are quotes and stories. I guess you're right. I perhaps I had that since young and I didn't realize that.
The yin yang thingy.
Yes.
Is that yours originally?
No.
That was very much shared, right? After you've posted it out.
Yeah, it was one of my posts on my blog. No, that was not original. That was, where I found it? It was at a cafe in my condo when I lived in Vietnam about a year ago. It was a poster.
You had an interesting photo of which you labeled resilience of Vietnamese people with someone with a cow on a bike or something. Is it like a daily occurrence or?
No. There was a dramatization of it. Just a bit of background to that. I lived in Vietnam last year.
Right.
Actually, 2 years ago. I live in Singapore now. Come to about a year already. But Vietnamese are interesting
The
group of
resilient
people.
people.
I always think that Vietnamese being Vietnamese and why they are so unique today is because of their culture and history with the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that they do and they act, I think it's the outcome of how they are being conditioned by a fighter from the war, right? Think about it, their food are very much in vegetables, right? It's sort of an evolution from tough time
Broken
from
rice.
broken rice and from wartime and stuff like
My
that,
favorite
right?
food.
Yeah. You can argue a lot of them are quite thrifty, like very particular in life, very high standard. But I also think that mindset is because they survived a war.
Yeah.
Right? If I look at
Our grandparents' mindset.
exactly, and they are very proud of themselves as a nation. One of the proudest I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yes. When
I have no idea.
sometimes when you say I'm Malaysian, you say like I'm Malaysian.
Yeah.
But for Vietnamese, at least those I know, they are very proud. They say I'm a Vietnamese, and they have a very strong identity to it.
That rings a bell. When I was a student, I have some Vietnamese friends. They can't wait to go back to make a difference with their knowledge. Yeah, that's my impression.
It's a very buzzing city. It's a buzzing country, growing so much. There's so much energy in a country.
Yeah. How about your favorite recollection of Vietnam?
I was an expat in Vietnam. Expect me an expat, and we are foreigner being foreigner in Vietnam, we're not allowed to drive.
I
because
didn't know
it's
that. Okay.
Company policy, so it's dangerous and so
okay.
on, right?
Yep.
You could if you can. Company didn't allow us to, and we have our own drivers and cars, right?
I read that.
One of my best memories was my drivers, by the name of Andy.
Yes.
A lot of my writings and my articles, my tiny letters was inspired by Andy. And you can argue that Brandon being a coach, Brandon is wise, but you guess what? Actually, I draw a lot of wisdom from my Andy driver. Let me think. What are the stuff he told me?
The one that you try to match make him a job.
Oh yeah, that. Yes.
I thought that was profound.
That story, yeah. So Andy is a very simple but very wise man. He's very contented in life, right? He knows what makes him happy, right? He always told me, like my dream is to have 2 cars, rent it out to be a taxi and collect income, and then I travel once, like to oversee once a year. I'm happy with that, and he always tell me that, and he's a very honest man. That story that you mentioned, when I moved on, that I was to leave Vietnam, right? I wanted to make sure he has a job. So I actually introduced him to one of my friends who stayed back in Vietnam to ask him to take him. Now, so happened that my friend wanted to let go of his driver because of a language problem, right? But little do I know that actually Andy went behind me and rejected him. Actually, he didn't. He told me, but hey, can you tell your friend to reject me instead? He texted me, hey, can you ask your friend to reject me instead? Then I said, why? Because I knew he wanted a job. Then I said, you know what, but I feel bad for making other people lose their job. I'm fine to lose my job to go elsewhere, but I don't want to be responsible for that person losing his job, which is the previous, the original drivers. That I thought was a lesson. Lesson for me then was that I thought I wanted to help. I thought I was helping. But matter of fact that now that I think back, I actually caused him some pain and troubles.
So a lesson that one can draw from this is you don't use your own yardstick.
Exactly. And I think that's true in life generally, right? People want to help. People think that this is good for you. But a lot of times people don't ask and listen what you want, what that person wants, right? And what's best for them.
Yeah, what's beautiful about that story is what a beautiful mind this person is.
Yes. I've always been inspired by Andy. Yeah.
What are you doing in PNG?
I'm a brand manager. I tell people I sell diapers. Pampers is my brand. So I'm a brand. I've been in PNG for about 8.5 years now. I was a brand manager for the last 4 years. I've always worked on Pampers in the last 4 years.
Does it get you excited about marriage and having kids?
It's
or is it an off-putting thing?
No. I think you know what working in Pampers, I think is one of the best thing that happened to me in my PNG career. I mean, no offense to I used to sell laundry too. I used to sell shampoo too.
Yeah.
Now I'm selling diaper, right? I think the big difference is that when I work on Pampers, I work with a lot of babies. I meet a lot of consumers, right? A lot of moms for research.
So there are focus groups.
Yeah, focus group. I do a lot of focus group.
Yeah.
I meet moms. I meet like newborn babies. I observe how how the relationship change. How moms will have so much of love for the babies, and then sometimes I thought that business is tough, work is tough, but it actually really contribute to someone's betterments in life for the babies, for example.
So does it get you excited about wanting to be a father?
Eventually. I told you
You're getting married soon.
I'm getting married next year. I'm still hope that I have 1 to 2 years of together time before the baby comes along. But we definitely wanted a baby. The only argument that I have with my fiance and wife soon to be is that I always wanted a dog. I always wanted my kids to grow up with a dog. I thought that's the best way to teach them about life and compassion, right? And death, by the way, because dog will die before the kids.
Yeah.
But she's scared of pets. So that's.
You don't have pets?
I have a lot of pets back in Malaysia. Interesting story. My family never wanted pets, but then my younger sister, who wanted to be a vet, she rescued a dog one day, and the promise was we rescue the dog. We have a name for the dog called Brownie. We rescued the dog. We're supposed to house him for her for a while, and donate her away. And so happened that at that time, my sister broke up with the boyfriend, right? And my mom said, okay, fine, because you're heartbroken and all, we will keep the dog longer. And the next thing you knew, the dog is at home for I think it's coming to 4 years or 5 years now. And one thing led to another. Then we started rescuing stray cats. At one point in time, there were more than 10 cats at home. They're all stray, all rescued.
Living in harmony with the dog.
Yeah. So now the entire family loves the pets that we have. We have names for them. We feed them 3 times a day. But it's good for my parents, right? Because I've been living overseas since I graduated about 10 years ago. My sisters just got married, and then so the homes are getting quiet. So I'm grateful for the pets sometimes.
Making noise.
Yes. My mom devoted a lot of the time taking care of the pets at home and the dog at home. It's a devotion. And she has so much of love for the pets.
Right?
It's a commitment. I think I didn't tell her that my mom just celebrated her birthday about a few weeks ago. When I asked her what present do you want, she said I wanted to have lunch at this noodle place, and I wanted you guys to buy me pet food. Pet food.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Because she wanted life so simple, right? She just wanted noodle for herself as a gift, and she wanted the rest of whatever we can contribute, just spend the money on the pet food so that she can use the pet food to feed the cats. So as for her, as long as the cats are happy and well fed, she's happy.
A big part of you came from her.
I guess so. So my birthday present for her is that we actually visited the pet shop. I told her, hey, buy whatever you want. I'll pay. And she was happy. And you know what? One of the lessons I learned from the guy who ran the shop. Apparently, he's also a very filial boy. My mom goes to that shop always. The guy said, you know what? I recognize what you're trying to say. What you're trying to do here, right? You're trying to make your mom happy. But you know what? Let me give you a tips. Your mom will feel bad for you to spend the money just like that, right? The best tip for you is give the money to your mom. Let her spend the way she wants it to be. She said, I know all moms. If you tell them, hey, open bank check and spend now, they'll never want it to be because they feel bad. I'm spending so much of my son's money. They'll feel bad. So he told me, you know what? If I were you, buy some stuff, give the rest of the money to her. She'll come back and she'll buy slowly, and then she'll not feel bad. Life lesson. Life lesson. Apparently, this pet shop owner is a very filial guy. He closed down his pet shop like once a year, but for a few weeks. And he has a lot of pets, right? By the way, so he actually sent his pet to pet hotel to host them, and he goes on holiday with his mom every year to Japan, to Korea, and so on. A good guy. I like this guy. I mean, for the first time, I like him. Yeah.
how do you get all these juicy stories?
I guess sometimes you just pay attention.
Do you interview them?
No, I actually don't really interview people.
You observe.
I observe them, and then I turn them into short stories, usually conversational story, like exactly the way we say, right? And then I guess I just tend to have that habit of recapping a story, right? And for that pet store story that what he told me, I thought it was beautiful, right? A lot of times we always think what is best for the rest for the other people, right? Not knowing that what's best for other people sometimes is not what you think it is,
yeah.
right? And sometimes what you need is just either you ask or you listen, right? Yeah.
Just engrossing it into it so much.
Yeah. We end up buying a lot of pet food. I end up making sure that she has enough money to go back to buy the rest, the rounds of the pet food.
Another commonalities between the two of us is my background is in marketing.
There you go.
I'm curious to learn from you what you learned from PNG.
Oh, so much. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, I mean PNG. Does it not have a university of its own?
PNG.
Or is it Kellogg School?
I think
Kellogg's University.
Kellogg's
PNG,
have it. Yeah. See, but in PNG is like.
What is the marketing secret of PNG? If there's any.
As cliche as it sounds, consumer is boss. You always start. We always start with who.
Uh-huh.
You start with who.
But you guys are mass production people, FMCG. Yeah, it's often the number, isn't it?
No, not exactly.
Just like your prison article, it's the number, isn't it?
It's also the numbers and the insight to it, right?
Okay.
If you look at the products that we have today, a lot of them are actually designed based on unique insight. And I think a good marketers, not just in PNG or in any companies, needs to have both the science and art to it, right? And I think the science to it is a very basic 4 P's of marketing: your science, your data marketing, your media plan. But the art to it is really ability to observe life and understand the intention of someone doing something, and try to create that service or the product or the fit to make life better. All right, insights, which is why I like going for consumer research, because going to consumer research is, from a one-way mirror you observe people, right? So you observe life, and I guess part of why I'm good at writing is also PNG trained me to observe consumer. And one trick I learned is that a lot of times what people say, they don't mean it. There's always a meaning behind what people say.
So catch the action, not the words.
Intention, you have to interpret the intention.
Wow.
You have to interpret the intention.
What's the process of your customer research like? The focus group.
We start by objective, depending on what we want to achieve.
Uh-huh.
We could actually do a focus group, which is the one-way mirror. You see how people talk, you touch and feel the product, and they give you feedback, right? And a lot of times you have to catch that subtle verbatim.
Yeah. I mean, how accurate can it be when you know that you are being watched?
No, they don't know you're watching them sometimes. And it doesn't matter. The other trick is that we do in-house visit. You really go and sit face-to-face with the consumer like this. We talk like friends. And I think sometimes it's about building rapport, right? When you have the rapport and the relationship and they trust you, things come out. I've gone to consumer work where there's so much, right? About they start talking to you about husband problem, like mother-in-law problem. They talk about traditional myths. Based on that, in fact, based on that, last year in Vietnam, we created a campaign called Modern Mom Campaign. Based on the insight that a lot of Vietnamese are very progressive, but they just have this small tug in their heart that should I adhere or follow traditional ways, or should I unleash myself to be the full Vietnamese, full modern mom? You know, that tug of tension. So we actually created this award-winning campaign last year. They won me a couple of awards. Modern mom, basically we tell moms there's no best definition of being a good mom. Every mom, if you do it to your best ability, you are the best mom.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think the beauty of marketing sometimes is you need to appeal to the higher emotion or higher needs, right? Because I can go and sell diapers and say diapers is dry and soft and stuff, or I can go and sell diaper and say, hey, we are the brand that is your partner to be in your journey to be a modern mom, or the best mom in your ability.
So we're selling aspirations, dreams,
hope.
Beautiful. How's PNG doing in Thailand?
Doing very well. It's one of our fastest growing market.
Are there lots of creative campaigns as what you did?
Actually, we do. One of the recent campaign that's done by our hair care team in Thailand, they actually use a transgender. They actually celebrate a transgender story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, imagine transgender women, long hair. They talk about how they were being bullied because they were transgender, and how they overcome hardship in life. I thought that was a good recent example.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll send a link over later.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you learn? Having work. Are you a regional manager or?
Yeah, I work for a region.
How different is Southeast Asia? By country. And similarities. Are they unifying similarities, or each country have its own? You need to reach out to them individually.
I think consumers or humans as the most basic are all very similar. Right? The needs are very similar. You can always go back to the Maslow hierarchy of needs. But Southeast Asia is a melting pot. We look the same, but each of them have our own unique patterns. And I like to think that a lot of that is being influenced by history. And whatever I'm saying might be a bit of a generalization and a bit of judgmental to it, right? Because I need to simplify. Because we like to say Thai people are very... They have this thing called sabai. It means never mind, chill.
Right.
And that's in their life. It's their sabai. Life goes on, very chill, it's okay. Happy group of people. And I really think one of the big reason is that is the only country in Southeast Asia that was never conquered by anyone.
As a result, they don't need to be on their feet.
Yeah. As a result, they historically they have never gone through the hardship of wars. Because if I were to contrast neighboring country, Thailand and Vietnam people, if I were to describe them, extremely progressive. Each of them are the fighter. Driven, opinionated, right? Sometimes to the extent that it felt like they are harsh, but they're not. They're so driven. And again, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of this is the evolvement of going through the hard time from the war. They know that they need to fight for themselves. They know that they need to always ask for more.
So do you have individual country strategy, or do you have a regional strategy?
There's always what I would say is that we localize the big strategy, because strategy should be something that can work across the country, right? So we have a main framework that we think will work across country. Then what we do best is we localize them into the cultural context of the country.
Not just changing of language on the label.
Yeah. The nuances to it. So, for example, in Korea, one of the countries that we handle, right? We know they are such a tense country, such a high competitive, such competitive moms, right? And fun fact, do you know that baby birth spiked in January in Korea?
Okay, I'm trying to reverse 10 months earlier. That would be what, March?
Nothing to do with that. Moms actually plan their birth to give birth to the baby in January, so they have a head start for the rest of the year.
Guess who, man?
That's how competitive they get.
Wow.
Right. So when we communicate the market, we could tell them, hey, good sleep for a baby means good sleep for the baby development. Therefore, your baby have a head start. Therefore, your baby could be a better talent in the future.
Meaning drier diapers.
Drier babies, better sleep, baby, better brain development. Therefore, better future.
Wow.
Now, insight like that actually resonates so well with them, and it resonates even better with a country like them who will plan their birth to give birth in the 1st of January, so that I maximize 365 days.
Right. So if you were to introduce that in Thailand, probably no one cares.
Emotional to it was a lot more the cultural influence to it. I think Thailand's are very communal people. Face. They are very good. They are also very driven by face.
What does it mean?
Society perception.
Okay.
So how do you leverage that look good, don't look as bad as the rest of my friends, kind of social tension?
So these insights are very, very important.
Yeah.
You know, the knowledge and understanding of each culture,
Exactly.
which plays to your strength. You love observing people.
Exactly. I guess chicken and egg. Perhaps my job in PNG trained me to observe people and cultural nuances.
And what I enjoy, one of the things I enjoy reading about your work is your observation of your bosses. You know, you pick up lessons from them. It must be tremendously pressure being your boss.
No. I've great.
Are they aware of your writing?
They do. If I credit back to them. I've great bosses. I have great bosses in my career. That's one of the big reasons why I'm still here in the same company. This is my first company. I worked in the same company for 8.5 years. Now coming to 9 years now.
That is very unusual for Malaysia.
Yeah. But then I guess every year I have a new reason to stay on. Bosses are always part of the big reasons.
You wrote an article about loyalty.
Which one?
I can't remember. But it was a very good article about taking risks, loyalty.
That.
You know, him having or her having your back.
Yes. Long story short, we were embarking on a project that was high risk. I spoke to my boss and I told him, hey, I'm not sure I'll survive this. And I think at that point in time, my boss was trying to make me feel safe and reassured me and say, you do things to your best ability. If it work out, great. If it doesn't work out, we'll have a back. And that has always been my leadership or management philosophy. Actually, I learned this from Simon Sinek, the book called Leader Eat Last. I mean, there's a lot of philosophy in the book, but at the end of the day, it talks about if you're leaders, you bite the bullet. Because the buck stops at you, you bite the bullet, right? And if as a leader you can bite the bullet and you can be the bullet vest for the rest of the team, when people don't have to look at the back to feel safe in the workplace, that's where people will die and be loyal for your work.
You've been fortunate enough to work for leaders.
Yeah, and I try to give back to be that to my team. Sometimes I'll throw them into the sea to make them learn, but I guess at the back of my head I always tell people, the buck stops at me, right? Means if bad things happen on my business or under my care, I need to be the first guy who take responsibility.
Let's shift gear a little bit. I'm interested to learn from you how PNG has adapted itself through this social media revolution. You know, are you all riding the wave? Are you all, creating leadership in this uncharted water?
In social media?
In social media, in the Web 2.0, or is it 5.0 right now? I have no idea. But what are you guys doing in that realm?
We are a couple of things. First and foremost, as a marketeer, I always think social media is a big part. Is one part of overall marketing, right? Because we used to. I mean, back then we have telephone marketing, right? Now we have social media. And
is
stuff.
it treated as a mainstream right now? Have you slashed the newspaper advertisement budget in favor of
we have definitely shifted our budget.
Facebook?
Not just Facebook. We have definitely shifted our budget to where the attentions are. Right? Have we moved 100%? No. So there are still countries that TV works well, right? I mean, in the social media realm, we thought TV would not work, but like it or not, in some countries, even like Japan, TV still works very well. Right. One of the main media driver.
So it's driven by the attention, not the trend.
Not trend. I guess end of the day, you need to understand the consumer and how the consumers spend their time. Right? And I think one thing's for sure is their attentions are being more fragmented because you have the ability to spend more time.
Is it more difficult for you as a marketer?
No, definitely. If I look at about 20 years ago, how do you plan a media plan? You make one TV
very
copy.
Straightforward, isn't
yeah,
it?
you make one TV copy, you put it on TV, you spend enough money, you win. Right? Back then, it was whoever who have the most media budget wins. But these days, things are so scattered. So you need to think multiple touch points. You need to think how, and attention are getting so scarce, right? That's number one. And number two, generally consumers are getting more skeptics.
They don't trust.
They don't trust. They don't trust. Which is why the emerging of KOLs, key opinion leaders, influencers. We learned that a proper use of influencers sometimes drive a lot of brand advocates, because you come across as, semi-original voice kind of stuff.
So, I mean, if you were to ask me to read a book, I'll buy it. No question asked.
Yes. So I guess it's a currency of trust. Brand voice no longer works as well because people don't trust brand. So I guess it's which is why brand authenticity is very important. Which is why in the new world marketing, how do you cultivate that relationship with your consumers is really important.
So go back to relationship, the old-fashioned way of earning that trust one at a time.
Yes. I think marketing is always about, it's a lot about that trust, right? Like for now we're talking, it's as if I'm marketing myself to you too, right?
No, I am marketing myself to you.
Exactly. But if I think about it, see, if I were to distill everything, marketing end of the day is no different with relationship, right? If I know you, if I trust you, if you deliver your job, that means you deliver performance, I'll come back to you, right? I think gone are those days that we can blast media and overwhelm the hell out of people. So I think marketing are moving towards a lot more personalization, a lot more conversational, a lot more customized.
CSR wise, PNG does a lot. Are you involved?
Not full time on my job, well, we are quite involved.
What are some of the great things that PNG is doing
for
CSR?
Well, for example, today I just received an email on some of the pro bono projects that we are doing with NGOs in around the world. Oftentimes we do pro bono service as marketers to NGOs on how do we help them to do their marketings. We coach them on marketings. Today I received an email how do we do pro bono HR, human resource and stuff like that. So basically we use what we are good at, we contribute back to NGOs and to the societies. That's one, right? And for example, Pampers, we partner with UNESCO. We have a world famous vaccine program because in certain parts of the world, vaccine is not accessible, right? So we actually sponsor a vaccination program globally, Pampers and UNESCO, to make sure as many babies around the world are vaccinated, because vaccine is a basic human rights. So we run CSR on very different scales, but a lot of time it actually links back to our strength. Either we use our brand or use our skill set as marketers.
How have you grown as a person working in PNG?
I would like to think I've grown a lot. Before I joined PNG, I used to be a cocky young kid who are quite arrogant. People still think I'm arrogant. I guess PNG opens up my eye, and it just, over the years, it makes me humble, or wiser. I guess as you get wiser, you get more humble.
So you learn more about what you don't know.
Yes. And people they hire in PNGs are great people, great talents, great leaders. I learned so much from these people. I like to observe people, right? So bosses plays a big part of my career development, because I learn by seeing how my boss react to a situation, right? I like to tell people, hey, you don't look at a leader or a boss in good time, because it's easy for them to put out a show in good time. I open door, talk to me, I listen. Great. Observe your boss or your leaders when times are bad. Yes. Look at how they react to adversity. Look at how they react to surprise. Look at how they react to bad news. That tells a lot about a person's character. And I'm fortunate enough to work with some of the good bosses who react with so much grace, even in tough time, that you wonder where they draw their strength from.
Tough times, mistakes. Yeah. Are there mistakes that help shape you, that you've written about? That I haven't read yet.
Mistake. Tough time, definitely.
You see, reading your work, I can't help but think that you would have walked through life, hardship, in order to be able to appreciate.
Sometimes I think I am so fortunate to have a decent life that I don't have so much of big dramas in life. Like, touch wood, parents are still healthy and kicking and
It's wonderful,
right?
It's wonderful.
And I have a decent job, I have decent income, I work decent hours.
And you write so well.
But if I were to highlight a tough time in my career, it will be perhaps, you see, business goes and business down, right? I joined one of my assignment when business was really going down, to the extent it was really hard to stomach. That 1 year was really tough because we lost half of our business because of business decline. Whatever that I did that year didn't seem to be right. But it was during the tough time, surviving a tough time, that built the most character out of someone.
What, your team became stronger? Or?
I became stronger. The team became stronger. And I remember telling myself, hey, if I'm here to stay in this particular tough time assignment, I might as well make the best out of it, right? And then I asked myself, what matters to me? And I guess sometimes having clarity about yourself is important in life. Now, I know for sure recognition matters to me. I like to win, so I don't like to lose. But what else matters to me at that point in time? I told myself, then I realized, as a newly promoted brand manager, people matters to me. My team matters to me, right? And I find so much of enjoyment and purpose in making sure people around me grow. So I actually put on a mission to myself. I said, hey, I'll do my best to turn around this business, and Touchwood is turning around fairly well now after a few years, right? But I told myself at that point in time, I vouched for everyone who come past my business, work on my business, right? I make sure they come into my business and out of my business a slightly better person. And I think I can make the influence by just be more mindful about my reaction in working with them, right?
What I find these conversations so compelling is oftentimes when I talk to executives, they are employees. You demonstrate a great sense of ownership. That it doesn't come across to me that you are an employee, but you really are so proud of what you're doing. You really treat the people around as if they're your own family or employees.
I guess there's a power of community, and that's why
I fully do not expect that from an MNC with thousands of people. That is a very pleasant surprise. As a matter of fact, it actually changes because big brands are impersonal to me. FMCG, it's like it's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
You bring it a lot closer. That's wonderful. And I think that the company is extremely lucky to have you. It looks to me that you have great passion in changing lives, in making an influence.
Yes, I would like to think so.
In writing, which you do so well. But you're not doing that.
Not doing that often enough. Yeah.
Okay. It's like as a fan, after going through your blog, you go, hey, next one, please, faster.
Coming. See, I'm writing the book. The book is coming.
Yeah.
So the idea was write as many tiny letters as I could, and as much article as I could, and I'll compile it and make it into
What is your
book.
writing tips for me? What's the secret to write like you? Jeez, stingy man. Don't want to reveal.
No. I'm thinking. I think first and foremost, one thing that helped me to write better is is focus on why you write, and see, I used to care a lot about grammatical error. I used to care about vocabs, and when I start thinking in that land, I get stuck. And the moment I change my mindset and say, hey, you know what? Just write as how I write, how I speak. Don't mind the vocab errors, the typo and the comma and stuff. Just write.
Fix that later.
Yeah, fix that later. Just write. Let it flow. Let it be authentic, right? And it will come. There it comes.
So this part you're talking about communicating your mind. How about so you're talking about the substance? How about the form? Because your form is very good. Yeah, as in the end result that you publish. Yeah, it's nicely structured. How do you come about?
Less is more.
Okay.
One thing I learned.
Relentless editing.
Yes, less is more. I like to keep my sentence short, very short, because like one thing I learned is people read on mobile screen most of the time. Keep it very short. Less is more, and because the lesser is more means sometimes the more you filter, the more you edit, the more you crystallize, you can actually communicate a simple message in a very simple way.
So good.
Yeah, you see, sometimes people write a lot and becomes long-winded. It is because they don't have clarity of mind. Right? Once you have clarity of mind, you can summarize anything in life in a sentence, if not a short word. Right? Which is why I always ask my team, can you summarize whatever you want to say in one sentence? Summarize it in one word. If you can, you have clarity you make choices. You have clarity of thoughts. If people keep telling you, yeah, let me tell you, that means they are just saying stuff to bounce off idea with you because they're just vomiting the thoughts with you, right? That's what I learned, and I learned from business too. The power of clarity. And the power of clarity for me is like how last time you learned pengaja long story is summarized, right? I thought that was the best skill I learned in secondary school. Summarizing life, summarizing story. Yeah. And the gist usually is the punchline. Yeah.
I'm brain freeze. It's been a very long day for me, but I'm really indulging in it. Normally, the question will shoot out way before you finish.
No, come. Take time.
Who inspires you? Who's writing influences?
Reginald Britt. You should really Google. She's a journalist who survived cancer, who wrote articles about her journalist life stories. And what I like about her stories is that she can frame a day-to-day normal stories into a powerful life lesson. If I want to be an author, one day I would like to be like her.
And what I appreciate about this is you are so unashamed of wanting to copy from someone. That's the greatest form of flattery, isn't it? And I think sometimes what's difficult is, you want to claim all this to your own credit. You mentioned in one of your writing, I read just now, that was really a gem. It talks about confidence, about how when you need to prove yourself or something, when you lower yourself. I've written it somewhere in one of your birthday things. Do you remember what you wrote? That was a beautiful one sentence. Let me try to find it.
Or don't let go of your self-esteem. Or don't know.
Something along that line. Let me find it. I thought, geez, someone writes so. Yeah, I'll have to find it. I thought, there's so many gems. So let's wrap up with what impressed you the most, which is the steakhouse. What brought us here together? What's it like? Is it what they say as epidemic, right? The high of getting your things go viral. Describe that experience to me.
I never.
Is it a turning point? Is it a recent viral?
It went viral recently
Uh-huh.
among the Filipino community for some reason which I've not identified yet.
Uh-huh.
I wrote this article about a year ago. I posted about a year ago,
Okay.
right? Then I put it out there. But in Facebook they always remind me 1 year later you post. 1 year ago you posted it. It came out on my Facebook about a few weeks ago, and I thought, okay, I'll reshare it. Obviously, as I reshared it, a couple of friends commented and stuff like that. The next thing I knew, it went viral. I still don't know why. My hypothesis
was an amazing article.
Yeah,
I wonder if that gentleman actually get to see it.
He did. You know why? His son commented. It
was unintentional.
Yeah, it was unintentional.
That's how small the world is.
Yes, I guess as it went viral, his son commented. His son left a picture of his family picture on my comments, and I told him, hey, please pass my regards to your father.
I wonder if the father has that same recollection as you.
I hope so. I'll never know. But it's small world. He left me a comment. That was I guess the coolest stuff out of this incident.
It's a small world.
Yeah, and you know what? Reading the thousands of comments on what people leave, and yeah, it was thousands of comments. It's just mind opening too.
Yeah, it would change your perspective on life. I mean,
you know what?
How has it changed?
What I learned was that everyone, when you distill life to its most simple form, everyone sort of wants some of the most basic thing, and I think there's a reason why the article resonated with so many people, right? Everyone goes through struggle in life about money, about relationship. Everyone wants love, right? And when I go through my comments, right, one of the things I noticed is a lot of people actually tag their loved one, right? The girlfriend tag the boyfriend tag the girlfriend, and say, because one of the life lessons that this guy in the article taught me is that, hey, I asked him, hey, I have a girlfriend, I'm here with my girlfriend, can you give me some tips on relationship? Then he said, hey, you know what, you could date as much as you want, but marry the girl who have the same life vision with you. That's right, because the person you marry to will either make your life miserable or make your life so much better. And then I asked him, how do I know? He said, share your vision with her and see whether she shares the same vision. Right? She said, I always wanted a big house. Right? She said, I wanted a house. Then I make sure that she wanted the same house too. That's how I knew I should marry her. I think that particular
something about finance as well.
Yeah, finance. He was the bank governor in his country. His face was and his signature was on the banknote. So as a proof, he did show me.
It's quite amazing how you observe and remember such details.
There was a very vivid memory. Then he told me. Whatever they told me was what is not rocket science. Work hard, save money, save for retirement, invest, don't spend random money. But if you love steak, make sure you spend money on good steak.
That's what I love about your observation in life. You wrote an article on the importance of financial management, and on the very last note, you threw a curveball.
Well, I because I am.
You have a good sense of humor.
Because I was very bad with money. Used to. I'm always late in paying my credit card bills and stuff like that.
So do you eat your own bitter medicine?
I try to. It's not as good as I want it to be, but I try to.